my name is Olivia Chakraborty, and I would love to do a quick walkthrough of my Capstone project. This is a voter guide quiz app called PollMe, so let's get into it. So elections can feel overwhelming with the knowledge that your vote for a specific candidate or party can really make a difference in your community and beyond. And comparing candidates is pretty difficult, especially when there are a lot of candidates on the ballot. In my case, I'm from California, and we just had our primary elections for California governor, and there were over 20 people, 20 candidates on the ballot. So it was really difficult to go through each candidate and see which candidates aligned with my viewpoints on the issues I really care about. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat. Because people can read the actual candidate platforms, but they're really long, and most people, unfortunately, just don't have the time in their busy schedules to look through it. So most people just go by media coverage and word of mouth, which is usually filtered through other people's opinions. So that's biased. And there's also a deeper issue because the moment you see a name or a party, you stop reacting to the personal position of that candidate and start reacting to the label or the brand. And you make judgments based on that. So to remedy that, PollMe hides the names initially and quizzes you on things that candidates have actually said, and only after you answer does it show how you align with each of them. So it also has a citation for every claim, and it never tells you who to vote for. It just shows you where you stand personally, and you can see who aligns with you based on that. I chose to build this with agents instead of one big prompt because the hard parts of this need separation. Because if you think about it, writing a quiz question and checking it for bias are conflicting jobs. So if one model does both, it's like it's approving its own work. So in PollMe, a separate bias review agent audits the questions, and it catches a lot of the subtly loaded wording or the biased wording that the generator initially produces. And same thing for the results. So like one agent will explain your alignment, and a separate check verifies that every claim against sources. So if a claim can't be backed up, it's flagged instead of shown to the user, and each agent does one thing. So if anything breaks within that, I know exactly where it broke. So it makes things a lot easier that way. Here's the whole system. This is a fast API server in front, and every request goes through a security layer first, where there's input validation, there's prompt injection checks, and citation verification on the way out. And all agents are built on Google's ADK. There are 5 in total, and they're organized into 2 sequential pipelines. There's one for finding elections and one for generating and reviewing the quiz, plus a results agent. And all the candidate data sits behind a custom MCP server with 3 read-only tools. And nothing is hard-coded into agents, so I can add new elections without touching agent logic, and only one agent has tool access at all, so it keeps any injection attempts contained. So let's do a quick demo of the app now. All right, so we've made it to the homepage. Right here, we have a little description, vote on the issue, see who lines up. We have a little sample poll, so we know what we're getting into. We just have to answer a short set of questions, and we'll get a candidate match with sources, so that's great. And I just mentioned the California governor primary election. We've now made it to the governor general election with less candidates, so it'd be great to see which candidate aligns with our views. So let's see if that comes up in search right now. Governor, let's see. Oh, this is what we're looking for, right? November 3rd, 2026. Yep. And then we can start quiz. All right, first question pops up. Which statement comes closest to your view on state climate, energy, and water policy? Say a user is unsure about what this even means. So first you can click this link, read up on it. All right, now you have a better understanding of it, makes research easy, and now you can make informed decisions. So I'm just gonna pick options as a random user, so this may or may not reflect my views on these questions. And let's get going. All right. All right, so based on the answers I just selected as that user, it says 60% is towards Javier Becerra, which is a little bit more than 40% for Steve Hilton. It shows the policy choices that matched with Becerra's campaign, and also for Steve Hilton's campaign, the ones right here, it shows exactly which ones match and which ones didn't. You have sources to see, to do like additional research. It explains your results in more detail just to show you, and then you could do further research with these links right here. And if you'd like, you can retake the same quiz, or you can go back home and you can take another one. All right, quick rundown of the build. Google ADK with Gemini for the agents, and there's a fast MCP server for the data, about 100 lines. There's a security module for validation and injection checks, and fast API with a plain HTML front end on top. And it's also packaged as an agent skill, so it runs straight from the ADK CLI. So that's pretty cool. And it's ready to deploy. So there's a non-root Docker container and a one script Cloud Run deployment with secrets injected from Secret Manager instead of living in the repo. And yeah, that's PollMe. There's 5 agents, there's one MCP server, and one main idea, which is to let people consider candidate policy positions in a way that's unbiased. And there's code and write-up that's linked below. Thank you so much for listening.